Be advised, mature content ahead. This podcast is brought to you ad-free thanks to the Legion of Demons at patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like what you hear, there's much more at patreon.com/NOTLP. Join the Legion. That's patreon.com/NOTLP. And now the show.
How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Happy holidays. It's the first day of Hanukkah.
We say Merry Christmas around here.
So,
Christ.
yeah, we will be. I actually have.
Christ. Oh,
Jesus.
fucking Jesus, Freddy.
Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
Stop.
Okay.
He did not get nailed to a cross for you to say happy fucking holidays.
Santa Claus is white.
Say what?
So is Jesus.
So Andy's going to review all the creatures we're stirring for Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette.
He's
Turns
my
out-
friend.
Turns out it was soup.
Oh, they were stirring the soup.
It's adorable. And Amy, that was Amy's job,
Yeah.
and she
Failed.
outsourced it to Andy.
Yeah.
I'll see all these jobs. Let's go to foreigners.
Foreigners taking our job.
Andy's doing all the jobs that Amy doesn't want to do.
Yeah. I appreciate
Actually, it was just a case of poor planning that you didn't have
Yeah.
time to watch it, right?
It was just, my life is out of control in many
She's
ways.
a very important person.
No.
She thinks she's better than us.
Yeah.
Well, she is.
Well, that's true.
And we're going to wrap up More Cushing-Lee for the Pushing-Lee. One of my favorite named themes, thanks, Andy,
Yes.
with Rob Ottone's pick, Nothing But the Night from 1973. Of course, starring Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
Oh, wait, they were in it?
And, yeah.
And
They were.
Dumbledore.
And Dumbledore was in it.
Dumbledore was in it.
Who was he?
He was the young cop when
was
they got
like-
to the island later.
And he wasn't that young. Don't say young. Like, we'll get there.
Which Dumbledore? There was like 5 of them.
It was Michael
Michael
Gambon.
Okay.
There were 2 Dumbledores. No, were there more than...
There were just 2.
They're just 2.
Oh.
It depends on if you're looking at the King James version of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone or the original Latin translation. Anywho, Patreon, thank you so much. Amy got the last of the shirts out in the mail today.
Yay, thank you,
The
Amy.
shirts and the pins, you damn fucking international people. You're shipping. Jeez, crow.
Expensive. Yeah.
Australia,
Totally,
for crying out loud.
totally worth it.
Are you that far away?
Yeah.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
Australia isn't too far away.
Unless you're the United States Postal Service. I'm just kidding. It's perfectly... I love you. I love the twos of yous.
You love the Postal Service or Australia? Or both?
I've never been to Australia, but judging by the people I know from there, you're a little bit all right.
Andy, episode 70.
Why are you staring at me and saying
74? Because I
Andy?
can't see Andy through the computer. He's like he's in another room.
Freaking me out.
Andy, we did episode 74 from November of 2007, where Andy, this is on your Patreon page. If you go to patreon.com/NOTLP, you can hear an oldie but a goodie where we talk about Return to House on Haunted Hill, the Blonde Wench Project, which was a porno movie.
That's porn if you didn't know already.
Do you remember if that was hard or softcore?
Well, it's porn, so is there
Softcore is no penetration. Andy.
Oh, okay. This one, it was just a bunch of ladies masturbating.
So it's a family-friendly porno movie. It's the softest, of course.
I remember when listening to it, I said that there was no sex. It was just writhing ladies.
Oh,
All right.
okay. Just like the original movie.
Yeah.
We had a couple of pitches. We used to do this segment. If you're not a longtime listener, we used to have this segment. Turned into a lot of work because the ambition behind the segment was you would send us a pitch for a movie and we would create a movie trailer out of it. And then we realized that was a whole lot of work and we all have jobs. And that became reading your pitch, and then eventually we just dropped it all together.
Yeah.
I miss it. I think it was a lot of fun. If this ever turned into like a full-time job, I would totally bring it back. But gotta pay them bills. So I gotta go to that day job.
You can just folie it with stuff that's in the
just do it
studio.
live. Yeah. Just keep like rotten melons around and
some raw meat.
fleshlights.
Yeah.
But thank you
Coconuts.
for your support. And I hope you like the new pin and tee design that Kelley did. I got an email from Jimmy B, says he loves it.
Jimmy B.
Just in time for Christmas, y'all.
Yeah.
Unless you're an international person.
Right.
Can't help that.
Yep.
Do they celebrate Christmas internationally?
Yeah.
One more Patreon
It's a
thing.
Christian thing, Andy. Yeah, goddamn heathen.
One more Patreon thing.
Yes.
This Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
We're all exhausted. You've spent time with your family. Maybe you didn't want to. Mm-hmm. You can be with us. If you're a patron, you get access to the NOTLP Discord server where we're going to be hanging out and goofing off and probably watching something crazy and drawing penises on the screen because we can do that shit.
Freddy.
Well, I'm going to be there in spirit. I don't know how physically, how much I'll be there physically because I'm on my last.
You can just dial in from the toilet like you usually
I know,
do.
but I'm on my last legs right now.
Yeah.
For some reason, this holiday season is
been a
just
lot.
very exhausting.
It
Maybe
has
it's because
been.
I'm almost 40.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
That could be it.
Yep.
But I'm like, please just end.
It is exhausting. It's been a really, really rough one. But are we all going to be like super bored after the holidays when we're just in the dead of winter with nothing to do? But we won't have nothing to do. We never do.
December 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day.
Do we know what we're doing?
That's Freddy's
It's going to be a surprise. We'll figure it out
because he doesn't know.
because we haven't figured it out. Also, we will never announce exactly what we're doing.
Oh,
in
so
advance.
it won't deter people from coming?
Well, it's not just that. Also, like what we do, I don't know if it's legal or not half the time. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy, to hop back on your train of being exhausted, it's this time of year where you are just mad that you have so many friends.
It's worth it, but I'm like the same thing.
I'm
It's
tired.
We're hosting again, second year in a row. We hosted
family
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
And I had ambitions to make a bunch of stuff. And then I realized yesterday or so.
Stouffer's makes mac and cheese.
They make
And it's the best mac
They
and
do.
cheese.
So we just got a ham and some mac and cheese. And also, we all went out for our Super Friends Christmas dinner, which we try to do every year with the three of us plus Mikey B. Mm-hmm. And I got real sick from something.
Yeah, that's why we were like a little bit late.
Yeah, this would have come out yesterday, but
With the full crew, but
I was puking my guts out.
Keeping me up.
I was still going to go. I was ready to record
I was
regardless,
exhausted.
but I kept
didn't-
her awake.
I couldn't even deal.
Yeah, they had to deal with me puking my guts out in our tiny little house. So.
Yeah. It's loud.
Yeah.
It reverberates. It's just awful.
It was either the mix of drinks I had, which were just all cocktails, but I don't know how many I had. I can't remember, but they were all different kinds, and I probably shouldn't have mixed all those different kinds of cocktails. Also, who knows? It might have been food poisoning too, because I was putting everything in my mouth.
You evacuated everything.
Yeah,
It could be that ass you ate.
yeah. The ass had turned. I
That's
think.
what the kids are doing nowadays.
They say Best Buy, but I think it was expired.
What's the lifespan of refrigerated food is 5 days?
Oh, that refrigerated
okay.
meat is at maximum. The internet told me 5 days. Although I went with your rules, and I got a lot more mileage on my turkey, and I lived through
there
it.
you go.
So
No rules, just right, y'all.
we
But
made pot pies and everything.
When did you buy that ass that you ate? Was it?
It was pretty old.
Okay.
It was an organic ass too.
Did it
so-
smell all right?
No, it smelled like shit.
Well, there you go. There's your problem, sir.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went to the Overlook Lodge here in the Cincinnati area. That's our Shining themed bar.
Every town has one.
Yeah. And ours is named the Overlook. And we went.
To their Christmas overlay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we ran into Jacob and gave him a big old hug, and then
Yeah.
he disappeared into the ether because that
Well, he's
man
a
is
busy
super
boy.
busy. And
Yeah, I want. it looked nice. I wish I could have experienced it more, but it was super crowded.
It was. I was real happy that it was crowded because I love to see that their bars are so successful. But also, I'm too old for that shit.
But not when I'm there. Don't be busy when I go.
Yeah, I just wanted to sit. Couldn't do it.
I'm the guy who comes in for the drink or two, and then I go somewhere more comfortable, like my home. But the young people who have the energy are looking to get some, who are willing to hang all night. You know what I mean? Go for that.
Oh,
Have
sure.
fun.
Absolutely.
It's a nice crowd. Clean looking people. None of them smelled like seafood or anything.
Seafood doesn't smell that bad, does it?
Yeah.
When a person just exudes it.
Fresh seafood, not so much.
Yeah.
I was dealing with somebody who smelled like seafood today.
Yeah.
But the kind that was like in an open market, sat out in the sun. I'm not going to get into the details of that on here, but just know that it almost triggered a whole return to the situation from the reason we didn't do the show.
Yeah.
Puking almost. It was super gross, man.
So, Amy, what was your reaction when Freddy was like, "Whoa"?
Well, I can't do it justice. I'm going to try to find the words. It's upsetting. It's disquieting. It rocks your soul. Something is wrong. But
were you more grossed out or worried?
Well, grossed out, because I know that sometimes, I'm not saying you did it this time, but there have been times where you didn't put the seat up and then you splatter.
Oh, I threw up and splattered?
Yeah.
You sure that wasn't my ass?
Could have been.
That would explain the seat being down if I was on it.
I just know that I really had to pee.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to have to go in and do some cleaning first and try not to pee my pants.
Does this go under TMI? Is
I don't
stuff
care.
people want to hear?
Oh, people are always. It's like everybody does it.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
It was really, really bad. It's the kind where it's so painful and uncomfortable, and you're so sick you can't even read.
Yeah, as opposed to those comfortable pukes.
No, I'm talking about the whole bathroom experience. You know how you're going to be in there a while. You can't even read the news and concentrate on that.
Yeah.
It's where you have to like hold onto the towel bar in front of you.
You're sweating. You're like, I'm going to pass
there.
out. I'm going to pass out.
Yeah.
She's going to find my body. Oh, I promised her.
Call the ambulance and you got diarrhea dribbling out of your asshole. I'd clean you up first.
Yeah.
Okay, have you ever heard like Kelley or Mikey throw up?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay. So it's just me and
Just you
Freddy, right?
and myself and
Okay.
Freddy.
I think Andy also is a violent vomiter.
Are you?
If I remember right, you made a pretty big racket that time we were all sharing the hotel room.
Which one? Which time?
Well, both times you did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember like last time I really got drunk was at Horror Hound a couple years ago, and Amy and Mikey had to listen to that.
We sat in the hotel room and Mike is just turning the volume up and then turning it up and then turning it up. And we're just looking at each other like, oh God, I'm going to have to use that bathroom. But it was fine. It was perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like at the end of times, Amy's going to has to be the storyteller.
I think we spent too much time talking about diarrhea and vomit at the beginning of the show.
I do have a
Personally.
very quick book coroner.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you mind if we post a separate?
No.
Well, you don't
No,
mind?
I mean, just let me say it real quick. What?
You know I work hard on all these little
I know, but just it's
fancy
very
bumpers.
quick.
You go ahead.
I just finished a
It's
novel.
Reading Rainbow. Now you can go ahead.
I just finished a novel called The Vulcan Academy Murders.
Yeah.
And what that about?
Is that about
Star Wars?
Game of stab you.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
About 300 pages long.
Star Trek. I'm delving into the world of Star Trek books.
Expanded universe. Ooh, look at you.
And this title grabbed me by the titties. It's like, you got to read me. And
Did it have your consent at least?
oh yeah.
Okay, good.
I was looking for a book. I was asking for it. No, real quick. It's just
She's wearing
like
a Starfleet uniform.
It's a original series, so it's, Kirk and Spock and McCoy, and they go to Vulcan because something's wrong with Spock's mom, and people are getting murdered at stasis, and it's just like a cozy mystery, but set on Vulcan with Vulcans and shit.
You finished it.
Yeah.
How was it? Satisfying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
You get it from your local library, didn't you?
I did. Enjoyed the shit out of
You can
it.
get it from your local library probably too.
Maybe it depends on what your local library is like.
Yeah.
Vulcan Academy Murders.
Do you remember the name of the writer, author?
Nope.
The guy who made it up? Spock?
His name was Spock. It was Dr. Spock.
So there was never a Murder, She Wrote Star Trek crossover that I know of. All you had to do was have one of those time travel episodes and they go back to Cabot Cove. Been great.
It was written by Gene Laura.
Yeah?
Yeah. From the 80s.
Did they
Gene Laura.
Did they time travel a lot in Star Trek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Is it confusing or is it pretty straightforward?
It's usually straightforward.
They keep their time travel stuff is usually pretty simple.
Okay, they don't it's not butterfly effect stuff.
No, I mean, only the tiniest bit. They'll put that in there, only the tiniest bit. This is like the early time travel stories that they're drawing on.
Ugh, my mind hurts just thinking about it.
You're going to be okay.
All
I
right.
promise you.
Do you guys want to move on?
I could talk about the lady at the post office with the full, with the like curly hairs on her chin. And then I was thinking about my own chin hairs and it's like, what if I just let them grow? Is this relatable?
Like how when you say was it a lot?
Yeah. She was like 90, so it's like, do whatever you want, lady, of course. But
Was she working there or was she in line?
she was in line.
Oh, okay.
But God, working there.
At 90, I thought, that'd be a little sad.
But I started thinking, what if I just let it go?
Your chin hairs?
Yeah.
I'd pluck them when you were
I
sleeping.
got a handful. This is very relatable content. Ladies, you know what I'm talking
You can't
about.
pluck people without their consent, Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie.
Yeah.
That's a violation of her rights to have hair on her chin.
Pluck you.
You go pluck yourself.
That's gonna be your me too, Amy.
Yeah.
We should really move on.
I was just thinking about
this
it.
is getting weird.
Okay, bye.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette.
Hey.
I got everything.
Is dinner ready yet?
Merry Christmas!
Tails on boat, tails ring.
I can't wait to watch you all die.
All alone on Christmas, Chet.
You sure you don't want to wait in the van?
You know what? I should wait by my car.
You'll be visited
Visited by three ghosts. You're poppycock.
Someone will open a gift, and the next person can steal someone else's already open gift. This is gonna be so much fun!
Hey guys, come check out this star.
We really should have fired you.
Well, anything's better than being alone on Christmas Eve.
Anything's better?
Than being alone on Christmas Eve.
Anything. Oh, Tip Bundy's here to hang out with me.
Hi.
He's charming. Andy,
Yeah.
all the creatures were stirring.
Yeah, they sure were. Yeah, no.
No, not for you.
Yeah. Thankfully, this movie was only an hour and 20, I think. Mm-hmm. So it was just a bunch. It's like an anthology.
Okay.
Okay.
Just Christmas themed horror shorts and real low budget. The wraparound story is this couple is Christmas Eve or Christmas. It's Christmas. I forgot which day it was. And they just, they're alone and together. They said they're orphans and let's orphans at Christmas. And because they don't have anybody else to spend it with. So they just go to see this live show, like this play. And the play is them performing these shorts that we're seeing, but but we're seeing something different than what the actors are doing on stage. We're just seeing like a live action version of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it cuts to like a cinematic version of the play they're doing.
Yeah, it was a pretty weak wraparound story. There was 5 of them. Maybe 1 was good, if that. Sure. Wow. Okay.
You're harsh, man.
Am I harsh?
It's Christmas.
I don't know. I was real tired when I watched this.
I'm sorry. You did me a favor, and I shouldn't say anything.
No, it wasn't your fault. I got up in time. I was like, I got up and watched the movie, but I was up. I wasn't too tired, but the worst crime a movie can do is make you bored. Whether it's good bored or
good bored.
What is
no? I mean, even if it's like bad, you're still kind of entertained a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this wasn't even badly entertaining. It was just boring. The first story is this office party. They do a Yankee swap, but it turns into some like saw trap where all the presents are like booby traps or weapons, and they have to play this guy's game to get out. And it just ends.
Yeah.
You ever see those movies or those shorts that just end? And it's like, what? It's over?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that it's over, but you want some kind of answers or resolution. It's just bye. That's what the shorts was saying. This first short was like, see ya, I'm outie 5,000.
So it was like the intro to this episode that we're doing right now. Where we're kind of like, I'm going to just take a minute and talk about things growing out of me.
My chin hairs.
Yeah.
I only have a few.
Yeah, it just ended. But even the main part of the short was,
The main part of the short? You mean
like the
bulk? The
bulk
of this office saw short was
Soffice.
Yeah. Soffice. And the next one was, let's see, it was probably the best one, but that's not saying much.
Damn, Andy, shit.
I know, right?
I'm hoarse.
He angry.
It's this guy. He goes Christmas shopping, and on Christmas Eve, and he's just rushing around. And he's literally the last one in the parking lot, and his car won't start. And this van is there. He goes there for help, and there's some stuff that happens. It's kind of creepy, but the end is like kind of out of left field, and I need answers that it didn't provide.
I think this is the theme of your review.
Yeah, this was probably the best one.
Yeah.
And the next one was the Christmas Carol kind of one, where like they get this guy hates Christmas, and he's just visited by these ghosts of Christmas past, present, future. Or like, I think comedy is probably the hardest thing to do, and when it's not good, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Oof.
Ooh,
yeah, this was bad. But the worst one was this like reindeer themed one. This guy hits one of Santa's reindeer and kills him, and Rudolph comes and gets revenge.
That's kind of cute.
It's cute, but it's just very, very poorly executed. We get like Rudolph point of view shots, and just like
is the red nose in the foreground.
Yeah, I think it's red when from his point of view, POV.
Yeah,
and you just see the kind of horns just coming toward these people, and and get stabby.
That noise was indicating death.
Yeah, this was just the shortest one, but it was still kind of just boring.
I'm saddened by this because I was rooting for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. And the last one it had people in it. Constance Wu.
Oh yeah,
you know her.
Mm-hmm. Hustlers.
Yeah, fresh off the boat. You got Crazy Rich Asians, and she's real annoying because she's always wooing.
What'd you say?
Constantly.
I said infrequent woo.
Oh.
Nope, she's always doing it constantly. It's
you made
Christmas
a joke.
Story where
see, comedy's hard.
Aliens are involved. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know that I want aliens in my Christmas story, but that doesn't mean it couldn't be done.
Yeah, and that's the last one. And again, the wraparound story just ends. It's like, bye.
All right.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah. There was very, very little resolution to the wraparound story.
Okay.
Like a cheap HD TV. Not a lot of resolution. Comedy's hard.
Wow.
Amy?
It must be impossible.
That's what you get for getting those Black Friday deals.
Yeah.
Turns out it's not so much of a deal, huh?
Yeah. Sweatshop stuff. So you know who's watching it.
Okay, we're going to make me do it.
Didn't you decide that was what you were going to do?
It's the only right thing to do is that I have to do the next one.
So we're not randomizing this. If you're a first-time listener, this is a random thing. But Amy was derelict of duty.
Yes.
And in an avoid court-martial, she is going
Don't
to
put
watch
me
the
in
next
Leavenworth.
one. Yeah.
I'm going to watch a movie on Shudder called The Headhunter.
This is made, I believe, by the people who made Thanksgiving.
Really?
true?
The one we
I'm
did
pretty sure.
for
Why don't
our
you check?
viewing party?
Well, let me read this.
Yeah.
A medieval warrior's gruesome collection of heads is missing only one. The monster that killed his daughter years ago.
I also think that this was screened as part of the Horror Hound Film Festival at some point.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So that could be true. Help me by talking while I look this up to see if you're right.
I thought you were just going to click on the director's name.
Oh, you can do that?
Are you on IMDb?
Now I am.
What a loser.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Andy.
Yes, this is from the director of Thanksgiving.
tried to
Holy
hold that
shit.
Yep. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ohio boy.
Uh-huh.
It's from Ohio.
I know.
Thanksgiving was actually really enjoyable.
It really was.
I had a great time with it. If you haven't seen Thanksgiving, and you have the means, we'll be right back.
Motive and opportunity.
Faces of innocence, happy and carefree. But beneath the sound of children singing, there is a hum of evil. Filling their days with the terror of the night.
A coach load of children? I can't believe that. The children were incidental. What? They were accompanied by 3 illustrious and very rich trustees of the Van Tralen Trust.
The nature of the killing points to one thing. Ritual murder.
I want you to tell me about the fire.
No. I don't want to talk about it, please.
Try to remember what happened.
It was so cool at first, but the fire came faster and faster.
Anything to help her, I'd give my life for it. But if you're lying to me, if this is some kind of trick...
The masters of suspense, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, unravel a web of mystery that reaches out from the confines of a hospital to a bleak island off the coast of Scotland.
Is Mary Valley well protected?
Colonel Bingham has made adequate security arrangements.
But he can't protect her from the nightmares in her mind.
Inspector, you will organize local volunteers for a search. I want every inch of this island searched before nightfall.
Is it a mother's love or a thirst for revenge that drives her to this island? To be hunted like an animal. While the children play, disaster chills the day. And the night explodes with danger.
Don't cut the rope! I order you, drop that knife!
It's a long ass trailer.
It was.
Y'all saw the movie.
Yep. So
from 1973.
1973. You have this is based on the novel by John Blackburn, who is considered kind of a master of horror when it comes to horror short stories and novels. But I think this is the only horror story he ever wrote that was adapted for film.
Nothing But the Night.
It was supposed to be, I think, the beginning of a trilogy with these Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing characters, but then it didn't work out. And in fact, Charlemagne Pictures, only movie they ever released that was Christopher Lee's production company. So I guess that didn't work out.
Wow.
They ended up back at Hammer.
This movie brought down a whole studio?
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's a great movie, though. So it was edited by the same guy who edited Wake and Fright, which I thought was a fun
that was a really good one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, Ben recommended that to us. We did that during our Australian theme some years ago. I can't remember when. The director, Peter Sazzi.
Oh, he's so sad.
He also directed a few episodes of Hammer House of Horror, which if you've never seen that show, is so much fun. And I think it's on Prime.
Is it like a Tales from the Crypt type thing?
It's like Tales from the Crypt.
Or Twilight Zone-y type?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I never heard of it.
There's only like maybe 10 episodes or something, but it's got really great casts and writers and directors. Just really, really fun show. So this movie is a mystery, and it kind of feels like it's going to start off as maybe just a regular kind of mystery before, and then we'd spoil.
Oh yeah.
So watch if this is on Prime, you can watch it yourself and not have us spoil it for you, which I recommend because it's very good.
It's worth your time.
But it kicks off with these 3 murders, and they're all these trustees from the
Von Zalen or
Van Tralen.
The Van
Halen
orphanage.
What a rockin' orphanage
for fucking weird kids.
Yeah, they were trustees, and
it's great.
They're
Like
dead.
The movie just starts off with all these murders, but you don't see who's committing them.
Right.
So there's like a lady, somebody's setting her up so that her car goes off a cliff.
Yeah.
And then another lady's like just sitting in a chair, and somebody just puts a gun in her face and shoots her. What was the other one?
I love real quick. I love when cars go off cliffs
and they explode, especially when they explode. Right.
You just love that.
I don't know what it is, but I just like seeing cars going off cliffs.
It's kind of a classic thing. It's a classic trope.
Toonces
as now. They these are all basically ruled suicides at the beginning, which I don't know how you see that with the gun into the forehead thing. But
they're not quite sure. They understand. I think somebody says, like they're all they're all from the same trust thing that they all work for.
Right. And it doesn't really raise anybody's suspicions until there's this bus accident
with all the kids in it
that has like 30 kids on the bus, including our what turns out to be a major character, Mary Valley, who is kind of leading the children in like a itsy bitsy spider variation.
Obnoxious song.
Can I say something about the way she was singing and the way she was moving?
Yeah.
It really disturbed me for some reason. It was, I can't explain it.
Yeah.
The way she looked, her facial, where her face was, and the way she moved, it was just very disturbing. I can't put my finger on it.
She was a creepy, like, she goes from being like a very vulnerable character to kind of a creepy, so precocious. And the payoff at the end, this is again why you should watch this and not let us spoil it for you, because we're gonna. The payoff at the end, all that makes sense when you look back on why she was behaving the way she was, and those little moments like that.
So maybe that is it. Like maybe it was an acting choice to kind of be creepy, but you don't know why she's creepy.
Well, the thing is, I don't like precocious children.
I don't either. I don't know why.
Me.
I should like them because they're typically good kids or smart kids,
right?
But I always imagine that they're going to murder.
They
a
just
parent.
Stop being precocious.
Yeah.
You're fucking weird. Just be a goddamn dumb kid.
Be a dumb kid.
You only have so little time in your life to be dumb.
Yeah, sit down, watch Frozen for the millionth time.
Yes. Pick your nose.
Yeah. So
just be weird.
The bus crashes, killing 3 more trustees.
Yes.
This is what really people are like, what?
So many of these peeps are like dead, guys.
Like, why is that?
The Home Office, which in Britain, I don't understand your government in the least. Never will. Okay? Because I don't have time. I barely understand my own.
Brexit, Amy. That's all you need to know.
Brexit. But what is a Home Office? Home Secretary. What does it even mean? Anyway, Christopher Lee works for them.
Well, yeah. Well, he's part of that group. Colonel, what's his nuts?
It's like policey.
Yeah, he's
or is it governmenty? Is it FBI?
Bingham. Well, because I think he's supposed to be kind of like a detective.
Sure, it's fine. It's not. I don't necessarily need you to figure it out for me.
Right. I mean, it's just something like that.
It just goes into that bucket that keeps getting fuller of I don't fucking understand.
Right. Like the minister
Britain.
of milk and stuff like that.
I don't get you people. You reelected that motherfucker again. Do you not have anybody? Anyway.
So, yeah.
But I know we have Trump, and I can't.
It's all a mess, Amy.
I can't.
You gotta let yourself escape into this movie that's from 1973, where these long before these problems were front and center.
Right. Andy, you're ringling dinging.
That's like a tacky acoustic guitar ringtone. Did that come with the phone, Andy? Do you have framed pictures that came with a frame, Andy? I'm just kidding.
So Mary Valley's at the hospital.
Mary Valley, she has this young doctor, Dr. Haynes.
Mm-hmm.
They call him that because he wears his underwear on the outside of his pants.
It's funny because it's free in the womb.
Keith Barron, who, if you're a fan of Doctor Who, way back the Peter Davison era of Doctor Who, he was in like 4 or 5 episodes of that, playing a cop, I think. And he's dead. He's one of many dead people in this movie who are dead now.
They're all dead now.
Yeah, he starts looking after Mary Valley, and even is he the one that decides to hypnotize her? Or is that Peter Cushing?
No, because Haynes is like a psychiatrist, right?
Right.
So he's trying to kind of get Peter Cushing, who is a pathologist.
Yeah.
He's a sir.
And apparently his boss. He's also this character's boss.
He's trying to get like people to pay attention to the weirdness around this girl and kind of these hypnotized sessions. Hypnotism sessions he's had with her.
Because she's saying weird things in her sleep
about a fire
that don't make sense compared to her accident.
Yeah.
And Peter Cushing's like, dude, just back off.
Yeah, Peter Cushing seems like he's the guy who got dragged back into solving crimes, and I would have loved to have seen this flesh out into the trilogy they had planned, because you see there's a backstory between Christopher Lee's character, the Colonel Bingham. I just pictured Colonel Sanders as Christopher Lee in my mind for a second, but they apparently, I guess they used to work together. He must have used to have been a criminal pathologist, and he's like, I could get, at some point he says something about I could get you reinstated.
Yeah, like Christopher Lee has been promoted recently or back into a job he wanted.
Yeah.
And so they're going to start working together because Christopher Lee's like, there is something hinky. We got to kind of understand more about this. And Peter Cushing's like the big man on campus at the hospital. So they're kind of working together. Meanwhile, Haynes is like, there's something weird going on here. And then we got
the
reporter lady with her big old hat.
Yeah, Carmen Sandiego. Did you think that too, Andy?
Yeah, with that big ass hat.
Yeah.
You can't be an investigative reporter with the obvious hat.
Yeah.
Joan Foster.
You need to blend in more.
She was Madame Lazara on Cheers. Do you remember? I think she was the psychic that one of the characters, I can't remember which one went to, but she was also on Star Trek The Next Generation for a series, like a maybe 3 or 4 episode stint as Helena Rozhenko, which I can't remember if that
favorite character.
Is that one of Worf's parents? Is that the mom? Was she Worf's adopted mom?
I don't remember.
Anyways, I think she might have been. I should have looked that up because it's driving me crazy now. But anywho, she's an investigative journalist, and she's
a bulldog.
As she starts looking into this bus accident thing, she puts together that this orphan who survived this crash, her last name really isn't Valley. It is something Harb. Yeah, and that
is such a British name.
Yeah.
Harb.
That her biological mother, Anna Harb, is this
fortune-telling murderer.
Yeah, she's like a mystic, but she's also she's a con artist, and she was a prostitute as well.
She went to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was for murder, right?
Yeah.
And she spent 10 years. Now, here's the part I'm trying to figure out, right? Mary Valley, she had her after she got out of prison, and somehow she still, because she was.
I heard the movie said that she was taken away 3 years ago.
Right.
The child. So But she was in prison for 10 years. So when did she have?
She had the baby after she got out.
Okay,
is what I think. I think I pieced together.
Well,
and,
I think what you are supposed to take away about this woman, Anna Harp, the mother, that she is trash.
Yeah,
but she's fun. Trash.
She was so fun.
She is fun. I was hoping Kelley would be here. I had a bet with Amy. Remember
that you would think Kelley would think she was hot.
Yeah, and I thought he would keep going on about how hot she was.
I don't think Kelley would think she's hot.
Kelley, would you please, if you hear this, please confirm whether or not you think that Anna Harb was hot. That's Diana Dors, who played this character. She was like England's Marilyn Monroe.
Well, she tragically died young, right?
She also died young at 52. She had cancer, but she was a big part of this pro-conjugal visit movement for prisoners. Like the year before this movie came out, she was like involved in this big political movement so that prisoners could have sex with their spouses and girlfriends and so forth.
It's better than raping each other.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
She's trash though, and she's like,
but fun trash. She's fun trash.
Yeah,
but not a good mom. She's not good mom trash. She's like, I want my daughter back. They can't have her anymore. I want her. So the reporter kind of finagles Haynes, the psychiatrist, to kind of like pick his brain and then get freaky. But then brings the mom to the hospital.
She convinces them to have like some of the hypnosis with the mom present. Right?
Yeah, that might bring something out in these weird memories that she's having about a fire and Victor and blah, blah, blah.
At this point in the movie, don't you feel like...
Well, the mother is suspicious about the orphanage. She thinks there's some. She knows there's something up about the orphanage.
Yeah. But they are selling her maybe as the villain.
Yeah,
the mom for sure.
The mom might be a killer, and this is driven home by when she is left alone with Mary Valley and the doctor. Somebody jams a hat pin through the doctor's brain, this big star-shaped thing, and
kills him.
He did,
which is really interesting because I was led to believe he was kind of be the main character.
Me too.
It was sort of being set up like the reporter and Dr. Haynes were going to be like the crime fighting duo in this.
Yeah, and you kind of felt like Christopher Lee and Cushing were going to be supporting cast.
Yeah, and they weren't. After the doctor dies, then things kick into high gear with our Cushing-Lee.
So I think that was a really cool choice to off him so fast.
Yeah, I agree. Like it was maybe in the middle of the second act, or even maybe near the end of it. So it was like pulling the rug out from under you, because they even, like you were saying, or Amy was saying, that there was like a romantic angle.
You were saying.
Somebody said it.
Or Millie said.
Like the reporter and Dr. Haynes, they were having this romance start to build up, and all conventional wisdom tells you that they're going to be at least alive into the third act. And then you're like, what?
But this kind of spurs the reporter to, one, she feels guilty because she's the one who brought the mom to the hospital and she thinks she's the murderer. And two, she wants to solve this so she can like make amends to her dead lover.
Okay, when the psychiatrist dies, is this before or after the mom has a confrontation with the daughter?
After? Before
the confrontation,
where she's like throwing her around the room.
And the mom is grabbing the little girl, going, "I'm gonna murder you."
Oh, I must have zoned out during that scene.
I couldn't really figure. Was she just mad because the little girl didn't want to come with her, or was she like? Did she notice something?
I think she noticed something, and she said something about, "No, you're not my daughter," or something like that. And I think because she senses something's up, and she doesn't.
Did I get popcorn or some shit?
Did she know?
I missed that moment.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was a pretty violent scene because she's like grabbing her daughter and shaking her, and nobody's helping at all.
Well,
so then the mom
went on for a while.
They get the girl away from, and the mom just kind of runs off. And at this point, the mom is free, and they think the mom killed Dr. Haynes,
which you would make sense,
I guess. Yeah, just the character didn't fit the actress. I was like, I think the movie wants me to believe she could have.
The author,
and I just never did.
Of the book that this is based on, that was his one big issue with the movie, was her casting.
I think she was miscast a little.
Yeah, look at that. Amy's thinking just like the writer.
I don't know. I think she played manic and crazy pretty well. Which would kind of cancel her out as a suspect, because you don't think somebody like this can get away with something like that.
But everybody thought she did it.
Yeah.
They're like Anna Harb, and Anna Harb takes off to get her to do something to her daughter, get revenge.
Yeah,
or
you don't really know for sure, but she takes off. And did you notice she had like the Rayovac cat on her car? That is what that was, right? It looked like
it was like the old timey Halloween cutouts, and she had tarot cards attached to her car, so you think she's all woo woo.
It was a cool car. It was cool. I like the design, but like she gets on the ferry and goes to this island in Scotland
where the orphanage is.
What they call it? What house? Inver's house or something like that.
Yeah,
and it's very Hogwarts.
And then it becomes
what lucky orphans. That was a nice ass house.
Yeah, it was so cozy.
We were like, this town is so cozy and awesome. And then I'm like, but it's really wet. It's probably just wet all the time.
This is when Michael Gambon shows up.
So this is really where Cushing and Lee become the focus of the movie. They're headed to the island with all the police, and they're going to, head Anna Harb off at the pass and kind of figure out what the fuck is going on. And she's already made her way onto the island. She slipped through there.
At this point, they let the daughter... Mary Valley go back to the orphanage.
Right.
So
everybody's like converging on the island.
So the mother goes after the daughter.
And they know that she's on the island, so they've started a sweep because there's a little boy from the orphanage who goes missing, and later he turns up dead.
Now, I didn't really quite understand that.
I'll tell when we get to the end.
Yeah, I was kind of confused
I'll help
too
you with that one.
About why he was killed in the way he was too.
I'll tell you why.
So they're on. So Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee are on their way over to the island on the ferry, and they see a boat come by, and they're like, "Oh, that's the orphanage's yacht. They take the kids out on it and shit. It's pretty cool." And they're like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." And it just goes kaboom, and some more trustees die. At this point, they're like, "You know what? Let's do some
digging.
Something's up.
Something's real weird here."
So
about this, and then the orphanage won't let any police on the ground.
Yeah, they're like going to handle it internally. I love this scene where Christopher Lee goes to the orphanage, and he wants to go in and question the kids and stuff. And they turn him away, and or no, it's the chief. It's the actual. This is the one where the local guy, chief constable, comes in, and not to. She says, "Why are you here?" And
who?
To the cop.
Who says it?
The little girl. And he
Mary
he goes, "I'm not a cop." He kind of acts like he's not a cop. They don't want the kids to get their hackles up, and he leaves. And when she goes back and talks to one of the headmasters, they say that he was there to interview the dog because some of the sheep were being killed at the farm next door. It was adorable. Anywho.
Okay.
And then Peter Cushing ends up in the helicopter, and they're doing like this search for this 7-year-old boy that is missing from the home as well. He turns up dead with like a star carved in his head. And so again, it seems ritualistic in some way.
And meanwhile, fucking redheaded mess, Anna Harb.
She's just trekking through the wilds of Scotland in like heels and jeans. She
Leather jacket.
She is not prepared.
She has a king-size Hershey bar and an apple.
She's got a candy bar and an apple and a knife. They try to make it look like she's really sinister because she's eating this knife.
I'd love it when people
eating an apple.
That would look sinister.
I love it when people eat apples with knives.
Yeah.
They're like, this bitch, she's the murderer. Look at her. She's eating that apple.
So sinister about eating an apple
because it's so unnecessary. Like, you just bite into that shit unless you have bad teeth.
Like,
she did probably have
this
bad
last
teeth.
half. Oh yeah, this last half of the movie is just basically her just climbing hills and
she's just falling
down and eating and running.
She's eating that chocolate bar, and Peter Cushing's chopper comes over, and she just takes that chocolate bar and throws it down like she hates it and dives into the bushes. My favorite moment.
But I will say, I applaud her moxie for going.
Well, sure.
For even attempting to traverse the wilds of Scotland.
The wilds.
So silly.
The wet grass.
Yeah. There's a lot of it. So, I don't know how big this island is.
Peter Cushing, he and I met Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing are separated at this point.
Yeah, Peter Cushing's digging through bits and pieces of the trustees from the boat explosion.
Yeah, and during this,
he says like the explosion didn't kill them. Like, how'd you find that out?
Well, it's great because the reporter's on the island and she is just being she's a little pet ball. She's like, give me answers. I want to know these things. And I understand that it's a reporter's job, but at the same time, I also feel on the other side that law enforcement needs to keep some things secret in order to fucking catch somebody. Mm-hmm. So just chill out. But anyway, she's got Dr. Haynes, the psychiatrist, tapes from the hypnosis. And she's like, you got to listen to this, Peter Cushing. Yeah. He's like, Jesus, fine.
And this is the big moment
where it's Mary Valley who's been hypnotized and she's recounting the murder of her husband. Now she's a little girl and it's like talking about Victor. Well, it turns out Helen Van Halen. What was her name?
Inverse, right?
Inverse was the name of the
Van Tralen.
Yeah, they're the Van Tralens.
Her and her American millionaire husband started they died. He died. I don't remember.
Well, they got somehow.
There was a fire.
There was a fire.
But the main thing is the crux of this is that they are taking over these orphans' bodies through this ritualistic deal where they somehow I think get the kids to agree to it. Then once they kill their adult bodies, they get to take over the kids' bodies and therefore live forever.
So Peter Cushing looks at a slide. Well, he listens to tapes and he's like, well, hot damn. And then they run to the laboratory. And he's like, give me that brain tissue slide. And he looks at it under the microscope and he's like, holy shit. Can you see? Look here. You can see where their memories have been put in. I don't know what he said.
You can see memories on the slide.
It was just kind of silly, silly science, where the effect of what he was saying is that their brain tissue is old and they're young, and I don't really fucking know.
But that's where the 7-year-old comes in. He didn't want to give up his body, is why they killed him. He was a weak link. He could have leaked their whole situation. So they have this party. It's supposed to be Guy Fawkes Day they're celebrating because she missed it because she was in the hospital.
Poor little dumb Mary didn't get to celebrate Guy Fawkes Day. I don't know what Guy Fawkes Day is. I know there's fireworks.
Yeah.
It's V for Vendetta.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's he adopted the mask. Yeah. It has to do with the uprising. Something like
Cromwell?
that. I can't remember.
I'm sorry, British people.
Used to know this.
I'm so sorry.
Tea was involved somehow, right?
Yeah, that's when they threw the tea.
Yeah, in the harbor.
Guy Fawkes did it.
Yeah.
So you don't know your history or theirs.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
So, then there's this big, almost a Wicker Man moment where they have one of the adults. You think it's the Scarecrow, but it's one of the adults up there.
It's their mom.
It's the mom.
Anna Harb.
That's right, Anna Harb. And a lot happens in this movie. And
Chris Lee's running up like, what the shit?
They pull the mask off and then they just push.
Yeah.
She's tied to the stake and they push the stake into the fire and they burn her alive.
Yeah.
That was a really effective scene, I thought.
He screamed, don't cut the rope, which, but they did. And then he's laying on the ground and they got him. And Mary Valley comes up dressed like a grown ass adult. She's like, hello, my name is Helen Van Halen.
And she also, this kind of explains, this is the point where you're like, oh, she was acting so precocious because she's really an old lady. Oh, lady!
And it's a bunch of kids dressed in very...
soldiers and
it almost looks like Halloween.
Old person's clothes, yeah.
It's like
they're playing dress up, basically. Looks like they're
British children's version of the... Who sang YMCA?
Oh, yeah, the Village People, yeah.
But none of them are just dressed normal. None of them are in just slacks and a sweater.
Yeah.
They're in full...
Jumpers, that's what they call them.
Yeah, a jumper and a... What do you call your pants? Trousers?
Dungarees?
Yeah, sure.
Jumpers and trousers.
So what how do they break the...
I think he kills her, right? Mary Valley.
No. Does he kill her? Yeah, she gets burned up, right?
She gets burned.
Yeah, she catches on fire. I don't know if it was even necessarily wholly deliberate, but she burns up. And she kind of curses them too.
Yeah.
But we talk about the scene where they all the kids tie up Christopher Lee and are dragging him toward the fire.
Yeah.
They're playing this game of tug of war where there's he has a rope on each side of him and they're slowly dragging him, and the overhead shot of when they're in the helicopter and these kids just dragging this adult toward the fire. I thought was pretty chilling, actually.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of the end of Wicker Man. Yeah, the whole just like Midsummer, this whole idea that they're children, but enough of them will overpower you.
Yeah.
And
true.
but then when their leader
dies, they all decide.
Yeah.
I think they decide at that point that they're found out. Like they're not going to be allowed to just exist.
So they all kill themselves.
They all just go fall off the cliff.
Yeah. Well, like very dark.
Mary catches on fire, and while she's on fire, she jumps off the cliff. So you see this body on fire, like just falling toward the rocks, pretty far too. And that was another pretty creepy scene too.
And then it's basically credits.
That's it. They were like, bye.
Well, like just
but that's all you need.
That visual of all these kids just jumping off a cliff.
Yeah,
I mean they're not kids, but kid bodies jumping off a cliff it's
really disturbing.
Yeah,
Also, it didn't need more. I think if this movie were made today, they'd be so tempted to add like a denouement at the end where,
there was a trampoline down there
or something. They would just add something to tie things up.
This is fun.
But
what would you do? Okay, so you're Christopher Lee, and you're like, holy shit, I have these kids, but they're really murderous adults in their bodies. Where do you put them? Jail?
Daycare.
But I would, if a bunch of like preteens were coming after me, I would love the opportunity just to wail and see how many I could take out before they overpower me.
Absolutely. Crapsolutely.
I mean, eventually I think I couldn't like fight them off anymore, but I just want to see how.
I don't know, the way that the kids are drinking the GMO milk and
they're strong now.
They're bigger and stronger than you.
I mean, I'm pretty short, but I think I could take at least a couple down before I get dragged into the fire.
Yeah. All you got to do is like say, oh my gosh, is that BTS? And they'll turn around and you'll just knock them down.
Hey kids, you want to floss? Huh?
Let's floss.
Dab.
Do they do that anymore?
I love this movie, by the way.
I still just say another thing. This might sound like mean, but all these people look so British.
Yeah.
You know how just you look at a person and they say, oh, they're British.
Oh yeah, they don't get as much sun or fluoride.
It's a smaller population.
But these are the most British people I've ever seen. Yeah. Just so British. I can't explain it. It's just British.
Why does that feel? Why do you think that's mean?
What? Because maybe you're saying they just don't look. They ain't cute.
No, they're not necessarily ugly.
Andy, you're painting yourself into. You want me to give you another shovel? Deeper. You can dig yourself a little deeper.
They just have a very distinct look.
True.
Yeah, and you can always tell like what region of the world someone is from. I think, and it's like if you look for there's things that happen evolutionarily. I think where you're like, oh well, this person has hooded eyes. That's more common here. Blah blah blah. What have you?
And like the Anna Harb character, that was like the most British that ever Britished.
Did you see the other pictures of her when, like, from other movies?
Oh, like I saw that. Like, was she like a bombshell?
Yeah, you should look sometime just to see. Yeah. She was very much Marilyn Monroe. Like same thing, the blonde hair, the whole look, the shtick even was, I think, similar.
She had a juicy booty.
Yeah. So, what else do you guys? You have anything else to say about Anything But the Night?
I think
nothing but the night. Any which way but loose.
I think Christopher Lee looked really good with that mustache.
That was a good mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'll disagree, but that's okay.
It was a very hardy mustache.
Strokes.
Yeah.
Different strokes, y'all. This movie was groovier than I've ever seen Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee like be surrounded by. Yeah. They weren't very groovy. But other people were groovy around them.
It was jacket porn.
Mm-hmm. Good jackets.
Christopher Lee, his wardrobe was like, ooh, I want all those jackets.
So much wool.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost everything is kind of, from this film, is almost back in style. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For true.
Faux true.
Anything else?
Not Anna Harb's shoes. Impractical.
Yeah.
Very ugly. A thick sole. A thick heel.
For a thick lady.
Yeah.
This is the last episode of the year, except for our rear end, which we'll be releasing on the 29th.
Yes.
Where we will talk about not shit that came out this year or anything like that. We might, but we'll be talking about our favorite moments from the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Movies we reviewed in our lives.
Do we want to do a quick hot take on Rise of Skywalker?
I don't think you can do a quick one on that.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
It was good. I think it's my least favorite of the new trilogy. My problem with it was they spent too much time trying to correct the supposed mistakes of Last Jedi.
Yeah,
and I don't. It rested too much on the legacy of Star Wars instead of being its own thing. That was my problem with it.
Yeah, we're going to get into a deep conversation about this on Wednesday. The next time we record
That's
Night of the Comic.
So
that'll be the week after Wednesday.
You're recording on Christmas?
No.
You guys are dedicated.
No.
But you're welcome to join us. So
I just want to give my hot take.
What is your hot take?
I loved it.
You loved it? I think I loved it. I haven't decided yet. I kind of have to watch it again to see if I loved it, but I think I loved it.
It lacked, Baby Yoda, and that's fine. Not everything can be perfect.
I really liked Last Jedi, and I felt like the internet just continually tried to convince me that I didn't. And I almost don't want to go out there and look at anything people are saying about this one, because it's just like, yeah, you'd say if you could beat something up enough, you could probably convince someone not to like it.
I had fun. I ain't gonna let anybody take that. Ain't nobody gonna break on my stride.
Well, here's has that happened to you where you had one opinion on a movie and then you heard other opinions and it changed your opinion?
Sure, it's happened plenty of times where if somebody picks apart, they keep pulling threads, then it hurts my enjoyment of it, because if I want to rewatch, which I rarely rewatch movies anymore, unless it's something I treasure from my childhood. Like if it's something I've seen in the past, any part of my adult life, I rarely.
It's unlikely that a shark would really behave that way.
Right. It's like somebody could probably go pull strings on Jaws until they got me questioning whether I'm seeing it the way it is or the way I want to see it. And
there's nothing wrong with seeing something the way you want.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
But
I know.
I am the least confident person in the world, but the one thing I know, I'm sure of what I believe, my opinions, that I'm very solid on my opinions, and nobody can convince me to think otherwise.
But your opinions do change. There's stuff that you don't like now that you liked when
But not because of other people.
But the opinion. Yeah, maybe not. It may not be in your conscious decision and change, but I feel like those things, no matter how strong your will or your understanding of what your tastes are, you get enough of that pumped into your head, it will influence you. I think no matter how much character or whatever you have, that whatever resists that, I think if you get enough of it, it can ruin your enjoyment of things.
Well, I can't watch Jeepers Creepers ever again.
Right, just knowing that,
having that
Victor
information that ruined.
Pedophile. Yeah,
it's not really an opinion change. It's a can't.
That's a
do
person
that.
change. Yeah.
But also, you do, if you did happen to see something where you learn something bad about a person involved, it will start to color.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Just any information you take on board that gets into your subconscious will color your opinions.
That's different than picking apart a movie.
You're right. I just hate that.
It's similar.
Star Wars
once
is
that information's in there, you can poison your mind, man.
Has Star Wars always been like this?
Like what?
Divisive?
A fight amongst factions?
No.
It's really sad.
It's the internet. It's what
if I posted man, I love this shit.
The internet didn't exist back then, so I wonder how it would have been.
So it's only this trilogy,
Well, so everybody's. I don't even want to have that conversation. I'm so sick of it.
You.
No, it's just.
I loved it.
I'm just so sick of going out and seeing people, especially people my age, who we're spoiled right now. We're getting everything we want in some form or another. And if it doesn't fit exactly what you wanted out of it, you're just throwing a fit. And for me, I'm you know what? I'm just happy they're still making Star Wars. And I know they're not going to be perfect. The original movies weren't perfect. They were great movies, but they weren't perfect. These movies aren't perfect, but they're really culturally significant, and I really enjoy that shit.
I will say that what I went back after watching Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
I went back and watched A New Hope.
Yeah,
I'm trying to watch all the movies again, and the only things available are the new George Lucas versions. And damn, George, they real bad.
Oh, you mean just the changes he had?
Yeah, the changes. It's so distracting.
Yeah, it is irritating.
That it kind of made me mad.
I look at Star Wars now the way probably people with troubled children look at their kids, where I'm like, I'm just going to focus on the things I like about you.
We need to talk about Star Wars.
Like I
sit George down.
I'll go back and watch the prequels now without any malice in my heart. I'm watching Clone Wars, even though I think the first 2.5 seasons are really dull. But I'm glad I stuck with it because it fleshes out some things I wanted to know.
I can get stuff out of the prequels, but that doesn't make them. My problem is they were just poorly made,
right?
And the script was real bad.
Yeah. Did you feel that way the first time you went to see The Phantom Menace? You walked out saying, "Man, that was bad."
I walked out of all those movies saying, "Whoa, these aren't good."
Yeah.
But looking back, like having some distance away from it, there's certain things I like about each of the movies, but overall, they're just objectively bad movies.
See, when I walked out,
it's not. There's like subjectively you can like them, but objectively, I think they're just poorly made.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't make movies with a green screen. As your
when I found that
set
out,
piece.
I remember I saw the third prequel.
Yeah,
I've never seen the Phantom Menace or whatever the second one was.
Attack of the Clones.
I didn't remember it, and then I read that these were all made with green screen. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, why would you do that?
Green screen, CGI, like these. This was the beginning of the sanitization of filmmaking, where it sucked a lot of energy out of their performances.
Well, now they're giving you a fully practical Yoda, baby Yoda.
Yeah, which is that's a reaction to the disconnect. But
that's a real little baby.
I was so excited.
He will save us all.
When the prequels came out, though, I was pretty jazzed leaving the Phantom Menace, and then overnight I started stewing on things. And then that's when it started bothering me. And then when Attack of the Clones came out, I had soured on the whole concept. But now like you're saying, I can go back and pick, and I'll just ignore the stuff that is stupid. I just kind of I push it down.
I accept that they're part of the canon,
right?
And there's nothing I can do, change about it. But it does expand the story in a interesting way. Yeah. I will say that
you can ignore them though. Yeah. I mean, you do that. Kelley doesn't watch them.
I have no interest in ever going back and watching the first two.
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
You can't just build a world on those 3 movies. I like how the prequels expanded upon that and gave a little more depth to just what was built in 3 movies. I like world building and other stories besides just the originals that we saw.
Yeah.
I think if they do another trilogy, which I'm sure they will, it's going to move away from that original storyline.
Well, they've said that for certain.
Oh, okay. I mean, I just think they closed that chapter. Let's do something. Now we'll do our own thing.
Right.
And people will destroy each other over that.
I mean, people got fired up over Avatar.
Hottest of takes with NOTLP.
I still like Avatar. I saw it 3 times in the theater, but it doesn't hold up for me. Not because of what people are saying. It's just because I just don't have a connection to it because it's just one movie.
I'll tell you, fucking Flight of Passage makes me love Avatar forever, and I didn't really care that much about the movie. Sivako. It's a ride in Disney World, bitches.
That'll happen.
Okay. Do we got to say hi to our babies?
We do.
That was a tangent.
I just wanted to see if you guys liked
our Beelzebubs, Jimmy B, Cassie and Jeremy Burmeister, baby, Bill Fahrner,
New York City,
Blake Heath,
Balake,
Amanda James.
Hey girl, I mailed your stuff today. Sorry, it might take a couple days to get there.
Alise Kombrinck.
Hey lady.
Jeff Lancaster.
Hi sir.
Tree and Alex McNulty. Happy belated birthday, Tree.
She just had a birthday.
B-Day.
Ernie Perez.
What's up?
Mark Watts.
What's up?
Branan, Whitehead, and Emily Intravia.
Hey yo.
Iona Goodwin.
I own a good one too. That was like $14 American.
Adam Ingram.
It's not your fault, Iona.
14 whole dollars.
14 whole American dollars.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yes.
We really appreciate it. Like we say, we couldn't do it without you for certain because the shit's expensive.
If you celebrate, Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ya hoes.
Mm-hmm.
Happy holidays.
Happy holiday. Bye.
Bye.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old buddy Leatherface put on Dawn of the Dead, and Igor made the nachos in a severed